Hello, and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I am April Boomansky.
Whoa. You stole my bit. I was going to say Justin DeBoo.
We can all be a boo.
Yeah. All right. We can all be boos, but we can't talk if we look at each other. Only when you look away can we start talking.
Yeah.
And you are?
He just said Justin
DeBoo.
Oh. I'm Coffin Colin Cunningham.
I'm pretty sure we've said all of these like
I think I said it last year.
What are we going to do?
Because it's Shocktober.
Yes.
But I thought it was Spooktober.
No, Shocktober. Spooktober? What's Spooktober?
I thought it was Spooktober.
It's all those things.
Whatever.
It's all those things and none of those
more.
things.
Yeah, we're so scared we don't know.
Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
So this week we watched a very scary movie that was not funny at all.
The dangers of mushrooms.
Called Fungicide by the director.
Don't you mean fungicide?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Colin said fungicide at one point, and now I can't stop saying it, and it's wrong. It's a fungicide.
Although somebody in the movie does say fungicide at one point.
Oh my God, okay.
Okay, this is from 2002.
This is the first movie from the director of Suburban Sasquatch, David Wascovich. Now, we've never done Suburban Sasquatch on this show. I'm sure it's
too popular. Too many people know it.
It's come up many times. I mean, if you are an aficionado of bad movies, you will have heard of this.
That's the sound of Suburban Sasquatch.
We actually have like a picture of the Suburban Sasquatch on our fridge, so I get to see it every day.
Like, did you kill him and you like put him up there? Or?
No, it's just us. We kind of met him. We're hanging out.
We met the Suburban Sasquatch.
Got a photo.
He's like, sorry, I got to go into work tomorrow. That's why I'm a Suburban Sasquatch. Can't hang out too long.
Mr. Sasquatch, could I get a selfie with you, sir?
And I think this was out like the year before, maybe.
Yeah, it says 2005, depending on where you look. But I think it was actually produced in 2002.
Well, I mean, this movie was probably made way before because it's his first movie. And as we all know, it takes like at least a couple years.
His Citizen Kane, if you will.
Yeah, this is weird because
I
was shocked at kind of how competent this was and how intentional the humor was, as opposed to...
Well, you know what? Maybe he started shooting in 2002, and like all the rendering time for the effects took until like 2005 to come out.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, so I haven't seen Suburban Sasquatch in maybe a year or two.
Or were you so scared that you forgot what happens in it?
No, I remember what happens. It's hard to find. I think that it was on YouTube, and we we grabbed it, and it's been since removed. So I think that you can still buy it on maybe like one of those like crappy DVDs.
It was like in a compilation pack.
Yeah, it was in like a pendulum set.
Right.
And it had a bunch of those movies, but I think that like after people like Red Letter Media hyped it up, those sets became kind of hard to come by for a while.
Oh, okay. Did they release it on its own?
I don't know. I'm sure they probably did. It feels like it probably lives on Tubi though, because like all these movies end up there.
It is on Tubi.
It is.
There you
Suburban
go.
Sasquatch?
Oh, no, I meant Fungicide.
Yeah, we're talking about
I haven't seen
Sasquatch.
Suburban Sasquatch on there, but I haven't looked, so...
Don't go looking, because it'll come looking for you.
Like, I mean, obviously, I definitely recommend Suburban Sasquatch because it's funny as hell, but this movie is better in certain ways.
Well, so this is an interesting movie, is like April said, that he's definitely going for humor.
Yeah.
But his technical chops are not quite there yet, and there is still that magical balancing act of
What do you mean? Did he ever
doesn't
get
know what
there?
he's doing at some points.
Did they ever get there?
No. I do appreciate, though, directors who are like, I don't care what it looks like, I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
Which all of his movies are filled with. And is there a little bit, maybe he's, a little shy in this movie because the credits don't have him credited 100 times like they do in Suburban Sasquatch?
I think they do play, he does play like 6 roles in the movie.
And also behind the camera, he obviously did everything.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't do the effects. I don't know. I'd have to check the credits.
I think he did.
To check
I'm
the
pretty
credits.
No, he definitely did.
But,
I think he did pretty much everything.
Like, from what I remember of Suburban Sasquatch, that had like a serious, like supposedly environmental message.
Yeah.
And it was very pretentious for something so silly. And this is just like camp, and it's a campy horror.
Yeah.
It's a comedy.
I was kind of shocked at the first joke. because I was thinking, oh shit, this is actually.
I want to laugh at this. This is not with it.
This is actually trying to be a comedy.
Justin, have you seen Tartarus?
I have not.
I haven't seen
I've heard people speak it up. He also has 2 other movies, Zombies by Design, and this sounds serious, Malevolent Ascent.
Oh Jesus!
Oh boy! So it sounds like those are probably serious as well. Tartarus is like a guy goes to hell and gets tortured by an alien, and it's like he's making up for like the bad deeds he did in real life. So it's pretentious in that way.
Yeah,
this is not pretentious. This is
so
Killer
weird.
Mushroom movie.
So he actually got like worse over his career, which is very strange. Like the jump between this and Suburban Sasquatch is very kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is fun.
He's doing a lot more interesting things with like the editing and a lot of boy does he ever.
You mean he got like Windows Movie Maker? He's like, what effects can I use?
Exactly.
I mean, it starts right from the get-go where there's like establishing scenes of a house, and it's like, let's double that effect up so you see the house multiple times.
Yeah, a lot of cross dissolving and a lot of switch ups in the aspect ratio.
So I want to say I think that the entire film has like a white border around it, and I think it's because he wants to make it look like a comic book panel.
Wait, where did you watch it? On Tubi?
Yep. Actually, I had a copy from a while back that I just flipped on, and it had like a white border around it.
Yeah, we didn't see that.
No.
And then when it would cut to like close-ups, I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because it's supposed to be like different comic book panels.
Okay, we didn't see the white border, but it definitely does go letterbox and pillar box at the same time. Then he's got like triple split screens in there.
Can I say, I think that's my favorite thing.
All the editing jazz.
Well, as an editor,
editing jizz.
Sometimes you need to spice things up, and it kind of reminded me of like 1970s editing. There weren't any freeze frames, but it was like you see the thing, and then it becomes 4:5, and then it becomes 9:16, which is all I do in my life, which is making social cuts of things. And it was like then you see the same thing in 3 long panels, surrounded by black. It was interesting.
I mean, right from the get-go, he blows his load watching the scientists mix stuff, because it's like double edits, and then it's like, ooh, crazy sound effects.
Yeah, and then like weird video effects too.
I was really hoping it would cut to him like pulling out like creepy critters out of an oven.
Oh yeah, I remember
those. Creepy crawlies.
Creepy crawlers.
Yeah, I remember those. He's down in his parents' basement, just some, I don't know, mad scientist, constantly wiping his brow, so I think he's sweaty, although he doesn't seem sweaty.
Oh, everyone is so sweaty in this movie.
He's got, he's looking at a boiling beaker, which is actually just Alka-Seltzer that he's thrown into water to make it look like it's
He's
bubbling.
wearing safety goggles, though, so, he's taking care of himself as this is all happening.
Yeah, and we insert cut with his parents upstairs.
So the second they appeared on screen, I went, this is the director's parents. Yeah. I checked. It is
they
indeed.
They are credited, so yes, they are. The mom wasn't bad.
Hey, we need to take care of our son. Let us send him to a relaxing vacation.
Yeah, so this is weird. He's like a scientist working out of his parents' basement, making who knows what. And his dad says, yeah, he's down in the basement, mixing his chemicals and stuff. And they are okay. And this starts one of the my favorite things about the David Wascovich films is just the repetition of the sound effects.
Yeah.
So I love it so much. Did he only have one? He has one of sound effect CD.
He has one of everything, but only one, and he will reuse it. But it's just the mom is circling the Airbnbs, not Airbnbs.
Oh, I wanted to ask this question, Colin. Have you ever done this? Gone in classified ads and circled things?
No.
Never.
It's a trope.
But it is I remember my parents doing it back in the day. You go through the classifides at the back of
I need a
your
couch.
Newspaper.
Let's circle all the couches.
Yeah, but she's circling
Thermopylae.
She's circling these bed and breakfasts, at the back of a holiday getaway for her son. But it's they have this one marker sound. It's just
And that is a theme throughout the entire movie, that everything that happens has one sound effect that is repeated over.
Including people screaming.
Well, it's a good thing there isn't any repetition in action or anything like that, so you don't have to hear the same sound effect over and over again.
I guess they said he's been working in his basement for over a week. We want to send him on a nice weekend vacation or a week-long vacation. So they do. I guess they call up the Airbnb.
Yeah, let me get the cheapest place that there is. And a place that is clearly not an Airbnb.
I keep saying Airbnb.
A B&B.
Yeah.
There were no Airbnbs back then.
Bed and breakfast.
What are we, some kind of time traveler? And I love that when the mother talks on the phone, she's like, my son is more of a agricultural scientist.
Okay.
Also, we will pay by check. And I'm like, I don't know if that information is necessary.
Well, they call the lady and she's like giving them way too many details about like the booking process of this bed and breakfast. It's like, can we get on with this?
Okay, this B&B.
I think the director is a very like process oriented. It's all about the steps you go. Yeah,
it's details. Like watch Zodiac or like David
like
Fincher
Michael Mann,
film.
or David Fincher.
For sure. So we're introduced to Jade Moon. She's the lady that owns the B&B, and I'm telling you, this B&B is probably just Dave Waskovich's house.
His parents'
Probably.
house.
It definitely is.
And
it's like the same house as the opening scene.
The lady who plays Jade Moon is his wife, Mary.
That's right.
And
co-writer of this film.
You have never seen so much wood paneling in a house in your life. This thing, it's like they cut down a friggin' forest to like line the walls.
It is a cabin. Like they make like it's supposed to it's supposed to be like remote, but this is just like a slightly rural area.
Sure, it's just it's like what we call in Canada just like a cottage up north.
It's a cottage, yeah. But I will say about this house and like the setting, like it did make me be like, oh, okay, like this is a movie I could make. Obviously,
sure, yeah.
Do you own a cottage, April?
I don't. But all you gotta do is have.
Don't make me go on my cottage rant like I did a few episodes ago. That somehow ended me going, I'm gonna kill
them.
I'm gonna kill people who own cottages. But like,
you heard it here first.
It's clearly all in one location. It's in the woods.
Yeah.
It has that homegrown.
You
quality.
use what you.
I have a friend who has the exact same cottage, like the exact same style.
I feel like
location.
they all look the same. They were all built in like
that.
The same era. It's like deep shag rugs, horrible wood panel,
weird like stairs that just go up like a half step out of like when the entrance.
Tchotchkes.
Weird like access panels,
ugly drapes,
a horrible popcorn ceiling.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a lot of favorite things, so I don't know if I will select this one, but I love the like shitty mini DV look, like interlaced, like basically black and white. Like they hadn't quite figured out color yet.
Yeah, I can't. It's really hard to read. A number of characters have something on their shirts. And it's in the beer cans have like a specific beer can, or he's made a label.
I think he made his own label.
But it's so bad that you can't read it.
Yeah.
How does the color correction compare to Fight of Fury?
It sucks.
There's
a lot of day for night.
Stinks.
There's a lot of day for night in this that never looks good, especially with something this of low fidelity.
Yeah.
Oh, I do appreciate too that Dave is like, listen, I know there's a lot of setup, so I'm just going to randomly cut the scenes from later in the movie throughout this opening.
That never came to anything.
Yeah. So Jade Moon is like dusting. She's dusting also dusts the camera at some point.
Yeah. Oh, I loved that.
She's dusting the cottage, and she's dusting a particularly small sword that's hanging over the fireplace.
So I was like, can't wait for this sword to come into play. Chekhov's plastic dollar sword. It never does.
It does.
It gets used.
It does for one shot.
It does?
It's just disappointing.
Oh, I missed it.
No, it does get used.
It's done for one shot, and it is instantly gone in the following shot. So this sword, usually you would have a full-size sword hanging above your fireplace.
It's like a foot long.
This thing is like a foot long. It's like a child's toy that you bought, at the dollar store or something with like, fake chrome and gold.
A child's gladiator sword. Yeah. That's what it looks like.
And she starts getting like flashes of the future. You don't know.
And she's just like, oh, what was that? She doesn't comment on it. And that never comes up again.
I don't think so, no.
Her being psychic.
No.
What the fuck?
But we are introduced to the next character. Titus Ignitus. He's a wrestler.
Great name.
Wait, I love the cutaway where she's like, my guests are coming, and then it cuts to the loudest like shitty MIDI electro music you've ever heard.
Yeah, it's like the most
and you're just like driving down the road.
He's supposed to be like a dude bro. He's driving in this red convertible.
He's a wrestler.
Yeah, I know. But he's bopping his head like a dude bro, but this is like the most stock music dance music you've ever heard.
It's Casio keyboard sounding. I compared it to Black Devil Doll soundtrack. Maybe it's not that good, but it's that kind of tinny sounding crappy music.
Yeah, so
he's like rocking out.
This is Titus. He gets a call from his doctor to remind him to take those pills. And he says, yeah. He can't get angry or worked up or overheated.
Overheated?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, no, you're spoiler, Colin.
Well, he mentions it, I think. He says spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, but we all thought it was a joke.
Thought it was a joke, but then upon watching the movie for the second time to take these notes, there's multiple times where he's always commenting that he feels hot and he's sticking his head into the freezer to cool off.
Whoa. Oh, that's why. He's like, I need my medication. And I was like, why is it in the freezer? Now we know.
No, yeah. And then he stuck his head in the freezer and he was like, oh, nice and cool.
Well, that's just brilliant.
And then
writing.
He commented that he was going to buy a house without heating. So he could cool off or something.
Hot.
That costs extra. House without heating.
Yeah, it costs extra to not have heating.
Who are these people with heating in their house? I want to kill them. Justin DeClue.
Yeah, that's me. No, I'm all about heating. We live in Canada. It gets very cold. I'm only anti-cottage, Colin, unless someone wants to give me a cottage, in which case it will become my home, hence not be a cottage anymore.
Yeah. Well, Titus is wearing a T-shirt, and there's like a decal. I think it's his face on the shirt. I can't read it.
Is it? I could not tell what it was.
It's hard to read, but all the decals, there's another person who has a decal on their shirt, and the decal is clearly peeling off. It's just like an iron-on like square. It's peeling at the corners.
It on, dude.
It's like a bootleg Bart Simpson who's like, we love the war in the Middle East, man.
Don't have a camel, man. Saying to some Iraqi.
And so Titus, he's one of the guests though at the cottage or the resort.
And there's a drive-by. He's driving by the camera at one point, and he's going so slow. It looks like he's going like 5 miles an hour by the camera.
I know. I was like,
if he goes too fast, he'll get too hot.
It made him look very uncool.
Yeah. So he pulls in. Jade Moon, meets him, sets him up with his room. This room is disgusting. It's like piled with trash.
Like shit like on the back of the door and bags and stuff, and so it's just like, okay, this is grandma's
house. But this leads to a very funny joke where Titus goes, my prized possessions, and takes out a bunch of framed photos of himself.
he places them on the dresser. It's funny.
It was around this time we realized that this was a comedy.
This is a comedy.
Yeah. It was funny. I mean,
and then both of you stop laughing. You're like, no,
I don't think I want to continue. And then we're introduced to Jackson P. Jackson, played by David Wascovich himself, who's...
So I was confused that I was like, is this a scientist from earlier? Wait, no, he does another job.
Yeah, he's a real estate man.
Familiar.
Ka-ching, if you will. I'm a multimedia dollar multimedia dollar real estate.
Oh, and it's multimedia. He's got many of them in his backyard.
I feel like this character, like in a higher budget movie, would be played by Bob Odenkirk.
Oh yeah, I could see that. He's driving up in his car and he keeps insulting the cottages as he drives by them. He's like, "Ugh, get out of the 70s, man." Ugh. And then he's looking at another one like condo. He's just looking. He wants to convince Jade Moon to sell her property so he can build a condo or develop the area or something like that.
Classic.
He's like, and my grandparents have been doing it all this time. I'm just the next one in line.
So he arrives at the B&B don't hear it. Off screen, you hear his car crashing, I guess, into the back of Titus's car.
You see some CGI smoke rise up as
and he
well.
puts his hands up awkwardly before this happens, and it's a very funny...
This is the Dave touch, right? That he's, laying down the groundwork, making sure that people aren't like, why don't they just get in a car and drive away?
Yeah. But he doesn't seem annoyed at all by the fact that he's just crashed his car.
It's never brought up again. That they've crashed
doesn't even bring it up. I don't think Titus does either.
Does it come up later when they're like trying to escape, or
no? At one point they say, "Why don't we escape?" And Titus goes, "No way! I paid for the whole weekend. I'm not getting out of here."
Yeah, exactly. Killer mushrooms or no, I'm staying the whole weekend.
So Jackson P. Jackson introduces himself. She says, "Oh, what's the P for?" And he says, "Pissed off."
We missed Titus at one point going, "Oh, I'm not very hungry. That incense is making me lose my appetite. I guess you could say I'm incensed." And then she goes, "Do all wrestlers have such a bad sense of humor?"
Yes, they do.
Pause for a laugh. Moving on.
Jackson P. Jackson, his outfit, he's wearing a blazer. He has the baggiest pants I've ever seen in my life.
It's the only one in his dad's closet that would fit him.
Yeah. They are like hammer pants. They are so big and baggy.
It was the style at the time.
Like, this is a movie that you would make with your teenage friends.
For sure.
And all of these people are 40.
Yeah.
They're in their late 30s.
Yeah.
They seem too old to do the, like, let's make a movie. But, I mean, you can do it at any age.
Sure, you got to start somewhere, April.
It's true.
You can't all come out.
April's trying to knock down the little man.
Sorry.
Dave just all he wants to do is make Fungicide.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Well, it's like, look
it's
at
right
the,
there. You can't have Fungicide without fun.
Look at what the Polonia brothers did when they were like 16.
I mean, I would say that their movies were better back then than they are now, but that's just my opinion.
What was it? It's called Slaughterhouse? No.
Splatter Farm.
Splatter Farm. Hey, I mean, Return to Splatter Farm just came out last year. Pretty good, I gotta say. It was directed by somebody else and produced by the Polonia brothers.
Do they go back to the farm?
They do, and I believe the actor comes back, or one of the actors comes back.
I need to see that.
Is there anal fisting?
There is not. That was my main complaint, that it never got gnarly enough. It plays mostly like a straight-ahead slasher.
2 stars. No anal fisting.
When I posted that review on Letterboxd, someone said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you watched this movie and wrote positively about it. I'm one of the co-stars in this film." And I was like, "Oh, that's nice.
That's great.
Yeah, nice to know. They like to hear that kind of stuff."
I just wrote down a note here after the baggy pants, comment. That Tubi has advertisements, so we got 2 ad breaks, and one thing I've noticed is the ads on Tubi are like right-wing ads.
Are they?
Yes. Conservative.
No.
We got an ad for
they had Tucker Carlson ad on there one time,
not last night, but another time,
and then they had another like right-wing PC party ad slamming like the NDPs and stuff.
Do people that watch this kind of trash, are they like, they are the, they have no taste. Give them the right-wing propaganda. That'll get to
there's
them.
no Liberal Party ads on the
It's probably
Tubi.
like the only streaming service that would sell them advertising spaces on Tubi.
Like, come one, come all. If people don't know what the PC Party is, they're basically like the Tea Party. Oh, was it PC? It wasn't Freedom Caucus, right? Or
they're
anything
called
like that?
progressive conservatives, but they're just
they're not very progressive.
They're not progressive.
They're not
that's like
progressive
Democratic. What was it
They'd
called?
Be like
the Nazis. Yeah, something like that. So moving on, though, I did make a note that every time somebody drops something in this movie, it's in slow motion and it makes a boom sound effect.
There's a lot of like filling time in this.
Yeah,
which happens here because our favorite friend, the scientist arrives and he drops all his goo.
Yeah, and it takes 10 minutes. It's like 10 minutes of him dropping shit.
Yeah, it's like an editing montage, and with every edit, there's like a gunshot sound. So it's like,
yeah, I love it. It means it's exciting.
Yeah, what was up with the gunshot edits? That's like a thing, right? I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah, it was created by Dave, later taken by Darren Aronofsky. It's called shotgun editing.
I do that in Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, the like quick montages. I don't know what it was called.
I love how we know he's a scientist because he stays in his lab coat the entire movie.
Oh, he makes a joke about it where someone's like, "Are you a scientist?" He's like, "What? Did the lab coat give it away?" And I wrote in my notes, everybody's got quips.
But why did he even bother like bringing his concoction up to the cottage? He just trips on the way up the stairs.
He was gonna work on it. It was like a book. I
think he was gonna release it somewhere, but like he didn't. He's like, it was just a happy accident that it fell on some mushrooms.
I guess. So yeah, it kind of seeps through the deck and falls. It looks like honey drizzling over 2 mushrooms.
Like honey. Yeah.
And he says, they all come to meet him at the door, and he says, "Hello, looks like I dropped my scientific experiment. I mean, my hobby."
And he says it just like that, like exactly like that.
He's a terrible actor, I have to say.
Yeah.
He's so bad.
And right after that, though, I believe we get a bearded man. I'm going to assume it's the director being killed.
David Waskovich.
He calls the exterminator, and so he comes by, and the worst like beard and wig you've ever seen.
It looks like he's about to start singing in like Cannibal the Musical or something.
Yeah. And,
so he gets attacked. Nobody sees this, but he goes to, I guess, spray under the deck where we saw the mushrooms, and then he gets pulled under the deck.
He gets sucked under.
Gets pulled under, and then there's a repeating scream sound. Oh, 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 oh.
And then we get, pièce de résistance. You know you're in good filmmaking land where your characters walk through the woods in slow motion.
First, they're walking along the side of the road. She all convinces them to go.
She's like, let's all go for a walk on the side of the road. And then they run into
to Major Wang.
Major Wang. I just watched Big Trouble in Little China, and there's a Wang in that.
Sure.
Oh, God. So I gotta ask you guys, I noticed in this scene that Titus has a barbed wire tattoo. Have either of you considered getting a barbed wire tattoo?
Never.
Or know someone that has one?
I don't know anyone who has one, or
I know a friend
like
who has one.
The tribal.
Why would you be like, this is cool, I'm gonna get a barbed wire tattoo?
Yeah, my friend has a barbed wire around his bicep. I told you I know that friend who gets all the trendy tattoos that are instantly like passe by the time he gets them.
Yeah. He has like a dancing Gangnam style.
So he's got
get any trendy.
He's got like the barbed wire, and then he's got like girls like kissy lips on his neck.
Kissy lips.
And it's like, oh my god!
It's like, wait, what other trends could he follow?
Tramp stamp.
Yeah.
I mean, portraits of your children. That's pretty. That's pretty
like all
trendy.
Deformed and zombie-like.
I just love. There's nothing I love more than just like going through those bad tattoo websites. Oh God, they're so.
What if
funny.
someone got a tattoo of your face, Colin, but it was all like mangled and like?
Good for them.
Somebody might.
Good for them.
Someone has an Important Cinema Club tattoo.
They do, but it's not me and Will's face.
Yes, it is. Isn't that the logo?
Well, it's our logo, yeah, but it's not like it's like a fully detailed
silhouette of
piece.
Your heads. So I guess it's slightly different. But I mean, that alone, you must.
If anybody wants to get a No Such Thing as a Bad Movie tattoo of all of our faces,
from the artwork,
we will give you nothing.
My ex-boss, say like, I won't say, I'm not going to name names. He was having
let's say Abraham Lincoln.
he was having a midlife crisis.
Oh no!
He was in the middle of divorcing his wife because he wanted to trade up, to a younger model, and so he decided. Usually people who have tattoo sleeves and their arms are covered in tattoos, it usually takes years and years.
Oh yeah.
To build up all those tattoos. He just decided overnight that he was going to be a tattoo guy.
So he went from 0 to 100?
0 to 100. I think he got them on both arms. And he didn't even know, he has no taste in anything. So he didn't even know what he was going to get. So he just had, I think he had one of the matte painters.
Barbed wires and snakes.
No, so he had one of the matte painters at work, working for like months. All day, just work designing a tattoo that he gave him really no direction on. It's just like, I don't know, like a dragon or a I don't know, like a dinosaur or something.
Was it like the episode of The Simpsons with Unky Herb where he's like, don't show it to me, just tattoo it on me.
I don't want to see it until it's finished.
Yeah, this guy was
and then I'll blame you. And working, he did, didn't he?
So he got like the ugliest tattoos I've ever seen. Like in my
did he get angry afterwards and yell at the person?
He hated them instantly, and he kept saying how he was going to get them lasered off and that he'll never go back to that tattoo artist again. And then he kept going back to that tattoo artist to get more horrible tattoos.
Wait, so was the artist bad, or was he just giving bad direction?
Horrible design. Like, first of all, he didn't give a shit what the guy put on his arm, only that he had an arm full of tattoos. Yeah. Because he thought it would be cool. And then he got like, I remember we went out for some, I don't know, company night or something like that. And I think when the waitress like called him an old man and made fun of his tattoos, and he was so angry the entire night. He was like hitting on the waitress. It was really funny. And then he wouldn't talk to her the entire night. Like, she insulted my tattoo.
And you would think that he still has those tattoos to this day, but he doesn't because he lost both of his arms in a boating accident.
I remember he went to LA Inc. In LA because I guess he had seen the TV show, and then he got the tattoo that every fucking idiot gets, made in Canada, on the back of his, I think it was on his shoulder or something, and then he had a reaction with the ink, and so it kind of got inflamed, so it's like permanently kind of puffy.
Yeah.
And
some people can't handle tattoos.
He lied and tried to convince people that it was a special 3D ink.
Oh my God.
And he was showing everybody so proudly that he got this tattoo.
It's like, no, it's an allergic reaction.
And we were like texting everybody like pictures of the tattoo, like who gets that tattoo? It's such a bad
And some
tattoo.
may say that he's still out there to this day getting
terrible tattoos and complaining about how shitty they look.
Did he ever get the arms lasered off?
No, of course not.
That would have been like $1 million.
It's
Do you think it went up to his head and he got like Mike Tyson tattoos?
I would love that.
Moved up to the face.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So getting back to Fungicide.
Oh, yeah, right.
We were about to meet a character.
Well, Major Wang.
Major Wang, who
Major
has
Wang.
a barbed wire tattoo.
He's an army guy, so he's out in the woods shooting something called Last Man Standing, which is like a survival show.
This is like the most realistic thing in the movie.
He's holding a plastic machete, and he's with his cameraman, who's wearing a terrible wig, and I'm assuming 100% that it's David Wascovich again.
Yeah.
He kind of waves at the camera while holding a camera.
It had.
And then he's instantly killed. He's dragged off screen by...
And it does not... Well, actually, I gotta say, Major Wang does go in a funk, but it doesn't affect anyone else. They just go on with their day.
Yeah,
he becomes like catatonic.
He's kind of in shock.
Shell-shocked.
So we cut back at the cottage. He's sort of like in a trance in the living room, just sitting on the floor, staring at the TV. Jade Moon is outside, lightly tapping on a twig with her axe.
That's how she cuts
cutting wood. Call it. Yeah,
call it what you want.
Music is very loud in these scenes over the dialogue.
Yeah, it's really,
I'm like, what?
Pretty badly mixed.
Mixing is hard. So let's just let the listener know.
Yeah,
that.
they kind of found the cameraman's tape. They play it so it sort of shows his POV as he's getting dragged away, and it shows like a little...
And you see a mushroom puppet with teeth.
And Major Wang jumps up and he's like, it's them, as Jade Moon is making some food.
She happens to be cooking some mushrooms.
Mushrooms in balsamic vinegar, or should I say balsamic vinegar?
Okay.
Is there a difference?
Well, they say that's all they call it in this movie.
Balsamic is 100% incorrect pronunciation.
Balsamic, isn't it?
Balsamic. But they call it balsamic.
Balsamic. Okay, where is Dave Wascovich from? Is this a regional accent?
I don't know.
Balsamic vinegar.
Yeah, I meant to look and I didn't. So while I talk with you right now, I'll be looking it up on IMDb.
Is that why you're speaking?
I'm guessing somewhere.
You're dragging it
in the mid.
Very slowly.
Judging by the decor of this movie, Midwest.
Yeah, let's say the Midwest, because Pennsylvania, USA. I knew it the entire time.
Okay.
So at this point, the wrestler's like, too much drama for me. I'm going for a walk. That's actually what he says.
Yeah.
And instantly, he meets a child-sized mushroom.
It's like a hand puppet kind of poking its head around the corner of a tree.
And he's like, oh, damn, you're a big sucker. And as you would do anytime you see a giant moving mushroom, he like reaches over to pet it on the head.
Yeah.
And it bites him with its little teeth.
And it
really
really gnaws on his like ankle.
And you know that it's gnawing because it makes a munching sound.
It very much, I can tell that they just recorded somebody eating an apple. It sounds
for sure. It's very crunchy
and he
sounding.
Goes, Army Boy was right. The mushroom is trying to kill me.
I gotta say these little guys are my favorite. The little hand puppet mushrooms.
I think there's only one.
Well, there's only
Maybe
one,
two.
but they have multiple ones in different scenes. But it's just the same one.
It's the same one, but they make it look like there's a lot.
It feels like there's an army.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. I mean, so you like the puppets in this?
I think they're pretty cute.
They're very, very low budget.
Oh yeah.
But they make it work.
What, are they going to get like state of the art mushroom puppets
just saying,
Stan Winston?
We could.
I mean, there's a shot of a mushroom puppet eating the fakest dummy you've ever seen, and the camera like lingers on its face, almost to tell you like we know how fake this looks.
So long.
Yeah.
Like, that's
like
the
they
joke.
make the worst dummy ever, and they show it on screen for what feels like
it looks like a paper mache version of like Ernie from Sesame Street.
That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah.
This is like the puppet they would show for 2 frames before its head explodes.
Mm-hmm.
But
just
it's on there for like 30, 40 seconds.
So the wrestler, after being bit, runs back into the house, and mushrooms are growing on his feet, which the army man then cuts off. Never comes up again.
Yeah, you think that people are going to turn into mushroom people?
No, they don't.
They don't.
No, but they kind of say later on that when the mushroom bites you, it learns
learns your knowledge.
Yes.
But that doesn't really play into the movie
it does
either.
In one scene.
Yeah, okay. When the mushroom boxes, people listening to this are like, are they crazy? Have they taken mushrooms themselves?
No, it fights the wrestler at one point, and
I know, yeah, it grows little hands.
It gets a folding chair and starts whacking him on the back.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
after the mushrooms are cut off his foot, it cuts to establishing shots set to explosion sounds. Like,
he's just got to spice it up with some sound effects.
You know, you would think that the characters would be scared of what's happening. Nah, they're not. They pick up some sticks and pretend to sword fight like you do when you're children.
Yeah,
but pay attention.
They're like,
this will come back later.
They're stick fighting training, and Major Wang, the actor who's playing him, cannot stop smiling through the entire movie.
He is having the time of his life.
He's looking at the camera.
Here.
He can't stop laughing.
He's doing the stick fighting training and smiling the entire time. It's really funny.
But at the same time, like a couple minutes later, someone makes a joke and Major Wang pulls a knife out. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, he's a little on it.
He's bipolar.
You know, he's got a soldier. Issues. He's dealing with this. So he's a soldier, but he was in a reality show. I mean, that's traumatizing enough.
There's a cutaway in this movie to mushrooms like moaning ecstatically. Did you guys notice that? It's like, oh.
No,
I can't recall.
Well, yeah, but then we're introduced to like these life-size mushrooms,
which is like a person in a hat and a sheet. It's a person in a sheet.
Because the scientists, so excited the mushroom have appeared, he comes out and he's like, come to me, your master. And it cuts to like a mushroom peeking over like a stack of wood.
Yeah, but as he's doing that, he's yelling at the mushrooms, and then the scene ends with a CGI baseball bat coming out of the house and whacking him on the head.
That was weird.
And safety first. It's better than to use a real baseball bat.
We were both so shocked. Sure. Like, was that a CG baseball bat? But to be cut immediately to an ad, and we couldn't rewind it.
Yeah, unfortunately. But like, I saw it.
That leads to a very funny sequence, though, of the scientist imagining himself feeding the mushroom, playing video games with the mushroom.
Very funny,
it's like a comedy montage from like a Naked Gun movie or something like that.
Or like Evil Dead or something.
Yeah, he's playing like PlayStation with it. He's playing cards with it.
He's tucking it in and reading it a bedtime
feeding
story.
It cereal.
Mm-hmm. And so he wakes up, he's tied to a chair, and let's just jump right into the action with a life-size mushroom breaking through a very real and not computer-generated glass.
I can't believe they didn't get injured doing this.
Well, get used to the shatter effect, people, because you're going to see it.
Action Essentials cost me $200. I'm going to use every effect in it.
And the same effect just over and over.
Yeah, it can be glass, it can be the mushrooms themselves, it's shattering, doesn't matter.
So this is when we get the wrestling mushroom scene, right?
Yeah, it grabs a folding chair.
Pretty darn funny.
Yeah, and Titus like stabs it, and you get all this particle blood spray coming out of it.
Yeah, so they have like a CGI stock like blood gloopy thing.
Yeah,
it is definitely from like an Action Essentials thing.
Oh, they did not animate
one of those
this
packs.
themselves.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's definitely a plug-in.
No.
There's lots of plugins happening in this movie.
And anytime the fight gets boring, it cuts to the footage doubling up for some reason. It's like, oh.
Or they'll show the same hit 3 times, like a Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a kick that happens at the end of the movie, and it's like the most feeble kick you've ever seen, and they repeat it like 7 times.
Yeah.
Gotta stretch it out, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut away. I guess like the life-size mushrooms are like sprouting from the ground.
Well, because they kill the mushroom, and then they pick up the costume and toss it outside.
Right.
And then it cuts to like, I hope you like this animation of the mushroom popping up out of the ground, because you're going to see a lot of it.
And I guess like it's showed that the mushroom's now taking control of like the area, so you get a cutaway of like a camper for some reason. I don't know if it's David Wascovich again.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just here drinking my beer.
That wasn't David Wascovich. That was, you mean like, okay. Sorry, I thought you meant it was the real estate guy.
No.
No, I think that was a different actor. He's like,
he didn't have a big beard or a hat or a camera in front of his face.
But they do have one of the funniest gags, which is like a prostitute waiting against like a lamppost and like bad day for night. And, a car pulls up. She's like, oh, hey. And she leans up to the car, and it's revealed that a giant mushroom is driving the car.
I was a little disappointed that there was a sequence of the mushroom going to a cemetery and like shooting its like stuff in the air. And I was like, oh, we're going to get like zombie people covered in CGI mushrooms. Nah, just the same animation of mushrooms coming out.
This is why we need a fungicide too. Get some better CGI and like an army of
use the same effects and blow up the effects to like the HD camera he bought for $100. So they're all like pixelated.
The effects are about to get really bad, and they're so bad that I don't even think they're trying to make them look good.
I just think it's a matter of volume. There's so many shots.
Okay,
how long would it take to like render 5 mushrooms popping up out of the ground like that?
They're all over the place.
Not long at all.
In every shot.
No.
I guess if they're pre-rendered effects too, it's not like he's re-rendering it every time.
I think he'd be re-rendering it, but they're so simple and like
those were the ones that he modeled
for sure. But there's nothing complicated going on. It doesn't even look like they have shadows.
Man, you can find almost any CGI effect online. We did a music video for a song that Emily wrote, and she found like dancing Frankenstein, dancing Dracula.
I saw that. I was like, did you guys buy like stock footage?
No, they're all free online. You can just use them.
They were all used in the Amazing Bulk?
Well, that's another one.
The whole last third of that
CGI.
movie is just all stock CGI footage.
And so we get stuff like a mushroom popping out of a toilet.
Yeah, this last part of the movie goes on so long.
It's all
it is
these
unending
giant mushrooms floating towards people or slowly farting button mushrooms.
There's a great
at
sequence of a mushroom just like vomiting out a skeleton that shatters when it hits the ground.
I wish there was more of that.
But then it's vomiting these like I guess spores at the people, but it's like
so good. And it's like farting sound like
yeah, the skeleton is funny, but it's like the things are flying at them so slowly. They're like floating, and then doesn't somebody like telekinesis like club into their hand? I think it was maybe the mushroom.
Maybe, yeah. But
that
yeah,
happens, and then we get some really crappy stick fights where they just hit up high, hit below, hit up high, hit below.
Oh, there are so many stick fights in the third act of the movie. Yeah. Like just when you think it's done, it's like, nah, here's some more stick fighting.
And then the mushrooms develop. They spray silly string at people.
Yeah.
And
now I was unclear of the effect because at some points it was like acid. At other points, they just kind of like shook it off.
David Waskovich gets it in the face, and
but he's okay in the next scene.
He's screaming, but I'm pretty sure that silly string is like toxic. So
he got it in his mouth.
It's all in his mouth and in his eyes and his
the
face.
mushrooms are doing a lot of stuff too in the third act that you're like, huh? Where they're like covered in static, like it's an unrendered effect.
Yeah, it's very weird.
That was intentional, I think.
Well, they all have like different colors.
They're teleporting away as well.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It's like,
they have like screensaver like textures on them, but then some are just green. They're all, I think it's just like, let's make them look somewhat different, but they looked like
it looked
unrendered effects.
It looked like a
rendered wrong. Yeah.
Or
we did skip over a sequence, which is really funny, where all the characters have like traumatic mushroom related stories.
Yeah. And one of them wasn't the woman like, I went to a restaurant and they didn't have mushrooms.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
That was her traumatic story.
And like everyone's nodding.
One
like,
of them, the army
bad.
guy was like, they used to put mushrooms in my shoes as a prank. That probably would freak you out if you weren't wearing socks. But if you were wearing socks, it would just be like, oh, what's in my
what kind of
shoe?
sicko is putting their
bare foot in an army boot?
Isn't that the plot of like whatchamacallit? Is that? No, never mind.
I don't know.
You trying to set up a joke?
I was, and I forgot the
too
movie.
Much real estate.
I'm thinking of the Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise movie.
Oh, A Few Good Men. Yeah.
This is terrible.
That's
joke.
the army prank that sets off the whole movie.
Okay.
Yes. They kill a man with mushrooms.
No, they just put it in his shoes.
And he has a heart attack out of fear.
Well, I mean, also this is where the woman Jade Moon, she dresses up in army clothes and Matrix sunglasses.
Yeah, she has like
comes out and
she becomes
says,
a badass.
Let's kick some fungus. Great line.
But she's still wearing like...
Everybody in the audience jumps to their feet. Yeah. I noticed as the movie played around that gore-wise, they definitely invested in a single hand.
That's right.
That you see over and over again get chopped off.
That's all they got. I mean, they also had that terrible dummy we mentioned.
Well, at one point...
not a lot of fake blood in
At one point, David Waskovich gets his hand chopped off by one of the mushrooms, and he's screaming, and then he falls on the ground. He gets silly string in his face, and then they just cut away, or he gets his head smashed open or something too.
Yeah, and they use that dummy again.
They use that fake Bert-looking,
and they show the little
dummy.
mushroom guy eating his head out.
Yeah, and then at one point,
who is your favorite, Bert or Ernie?
Ernie.
I always liked Ernie as a kid. Bert was a little bit of a wet blanket.
Yeah, Bert seems like a jerk.
Yeah, but you know that Ernie is like the bad roommate, right?
Yes.
That like he like doesn't clean up after himself. He's the fun-loving guy, and Ernie has to do all the heavy lifting.
As far as roommates go, I was a Bert.
Yeah, Bert's always like sighing as he's cleaning up after him. Like, God damn it.
He like envisions killing him at some point. Like, I can make it look like an accident. Choked on his own vomit.
Anyway, anything more?
Everybody likes Bert.
Anything more to say about this final fight? Because it goes on for
forever.
I want to say it again. Every time that the mushroom farted, I laughed. Where it's like,
Jade is doing some like kung fu against the mushrooms.
Yeah, she does the kick.
It is so slow.
She's like barely touching what she's supposed to be.
And then at one point, I guess the army guy just has RoboCop's gun for some reason. it's like a plastic replica of RoboCop's gun.
It's like a regular gun to me.
No, well, I recognize it, but it's like a really shitty plastic replica because the barrel's all fucked up. But
they just had it from the toy store.
I guess so. He has a bunch of toy.
Yeah, they had to kind of mess it up so they wouldn't get sued. It's like, we can't have RoboCop's real gun in this.
Who's going to sue them? Paul Verhoeven?
Yeah, he's a big fungi fan. So he's like, fungi-related movie, Fungicide.
Well, this so the balsamic vinegar. They decide it's basically Jade and the army guy are the only ones left.
How do they figure out that it kills the mushrooms?
I don't remember.
They do.
Yeah, I think someone just like knocks it over. They throw something at it.
and it's like acid on it, and they're like, "Oh my god, it kills them all. Too bad that was it." And she goes, I have a barrel of it in my basement.
I think one of them says, why do you have a barrel of it in your basement?
That's what I want to know.
But then the army guy says, well, I have a wick. Why would he just be carrying around a wick?
He was on the television show. Maybe he thought
you never know what
up.
needs to explode.
This is true, but they just stick the.
Don't you carry a wick around, Colin?
Who doesn't?
Me and April do.
But he puts the wick into the barrel, then they light it on fire, and
No, okay, you skipped the best part, which is the wrestler going, "Go on ahead, I'll stop them."
The pills that he was taking, turns out, were for spontaneous combustion.
Because he goes, he looks at his pills, which have an explosion and like a kind of X through it. He throws the pills away and goes, oh, and then explodes.
He's like an X-Men.
Yeah.
Spontaneous combustion. Man.
Inferno, or I don't know. Is there an X-Men that explodes?
Yeah.
I'm sure there
Speedball?
is. Yeah.
Fireface.
Yeah. He's part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah. So the balsamic bomb goes off, and
it looks nothing like vinegar. It's like a bunch of purple, thick lines.
Wait, so that is your big complaint, April, that when it explodes, it doesn't look like vinegar. Well, they're obviously like homaging, and by that I mean they probably found the elements of like the Star Wars style explosion that it kind of like goes outward.
Oh, the kind of ring, the Death Star ring.
That's what happens. Thing. It's like rings that go outward.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, you can't question the logic of fungicide. I was doing that last night, and I was wrong to do so. You just got to accept it.
Yeah, because the fungi came to you at night and they're like, how dare you question us?
Yeah, I had nightmares last night about killer funguses.
Did you?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. Well, you will tonight. I hope we didn't shock too many people listening to this and they're like, oh no.
We cut away, I don't know, after the fact. And the two of them, Jade and Major Wang, are at a book signing.
1 year later. Oh. And they're signing books at bookstore. The CGI has been imposed over a still of the outdoors.
And it's just a corner of the house they were already in. They're in front of a curtain and an actual bookshelf that looks absolutely nothing like a bookstore. And the books that they're signing are all mismatched. Like the book, the hardcovers are all different.
April. They're limited. What did we just say about questioning the logic of fungicide?
Sorry.
Did you pause it? Because I did. It says Fungicide, our true experience with dangerous mushroom.
Great title. That could have been the movie.
Yeah, so they're signing it, and then
I love when movies end with the character writing a book that's like really popular.
A lot of them do.
And then the big stinger at the end is Scientist Man shows up with an apple.
Yeah.
And he says, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, so...
And they're like, oh, so I guess you're going to leave? And he's like, I didn't think of that. Goodbye.
Yeah, and he just has, like, underlighting on his face, so it's, meant to look all sinister. Is it implying that he's going to be bringing apples to life next?
Absolutely. All you need to do is invest $50,000 in Fungicide 2 Apples Attack. Yeah.
One bad apple.
Whoa, you got it, April.
What else?
Slam dunk, the backboard exploded.
Yeah. Instead, he went on to make Suburban Sasquatch.
April's like, I've been workshopping this.
I just came up with
all week.
Apple cider.
Yeah.
No, you got it. One bad apple. That's what it is.
It writes itself.
I bet you there's already a horror movie called that.
Bottom of the barrel. That could be like that could be the bar that they hang out at.
Okay, so the movie is not it's not over, you guys. We have bloopers.
Oh God!
We got some bloops. That's a sign of a good movie.
I know. Yeah. I thought I was watching like Cannonball Run or like Jackie Chan movies.
I was very happy because you know my love of bloopers, and
I do not know your love of bloopers. Have you talked about this before?
I definitely have. Like, I think when we talked about the Stephen Wang movie.
Stephen Chow.
Stephen Chow. Yeah, I was like, that's not right. Sorry. Stephen Chow. Out of the dark.
Steve Wang, director of the great film by Mark Dacascos, starring Mark Dacascos, Drive.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of Wangs. Anyway, I love bloopers, and it was just like them cracking up at them being terrible at acting.
Definitely. Like, we made a presentation for 10th grade science class. Here's the short. Now watch 10 minutes of bloops.
This whole movie seemed like a movie that you make for high school science class.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
I was a little disappointed that, unlike Suburban Sasquatch, Dave's name doesn't appear 100 times.
Yeah. I think he was embarrassed that he did everything.
Well, it kind of had, for all the roles that he played, it just had,
one credit.
Camper, blah, 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 David Wascovich. So.
Also, the song.
Oh, yeah. Sung by Mary Wascovich.
So she sings a song much like a Bond movie or something. It's like we're singing about the movie. I can't remember how it goes, but she says, like, fungicide. She has a terrible voice. But I mean, she's not a professional singer.
You're digging her up just to bury her.
Professional actress. I wonder if they're still together.
I mean, the credits end amazingly with "See ya!" Exclamation part.
I don't know if we made it that.
If a movie ends with "See ya," you had a good time.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
Fungicide will return.
Oh yeah, in Fungicide 2, One Bad Apple.
One Bad Apple.
There definitely should have been there. Like this isn't like any worse than like Jack Frost or something like that.
I'm sure the director is like, I made no money doing this. It cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a serious movie like Suburban Sasquatch and Tartarus.
Yeah. Filmed with some message.
Yeah. And that's the movie. It doesn't require much from you. It's something that
or from the filmmakers.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's no Suburban Sasquatch or Tartarus. That's what we've already mentioned.
You don't have to think too hard about it. It's just a fun movie about killer mushrooms, and that's
it's really kind of like a warning of what happens when the world collapses and the fungus grow teeth and attack us. It's really a what if.
It's kind of like one of those Mad Max movies.
Mad
Max Fungi Road.
Yes. I was just going to say I love mushrooms. They're one of my favorite
Lord
vegetables.
Hufungus.
I was going to ask you. I don't like mushrooms. I don't think they taste good.
Well, you haven't had them with some balsamic vinegar.
Yeah, I've never had mushrooms with balsamic vinegar.
I do not want to explode as if I ate like Coke and Mentos or whatever.
I've made mushrooms with balsamic vinegar before, Colin.
Have you?
But they didn't explode?
No. I love mushrooms. They're delicious.
Oh, you do?
I love to saute them up with a nice steak.
So good.
Well, oh my God. Listen to these cottage-owning people here. Probably eat it with fancy cheeses, too.
I'm going to kill them.
Yes.
Yep. That's my bit. I'm really this generation's Dennis Leary. Like, I'm smoking and I'm pacing and I'm ranting about cottages.
You're like swinging your knife and jabbing it into the air. These folks in their cottages
eating their mushrooms. What's next?
Yeah. They're fan with their balsamic vinegar. What? Normal, good old white vinegar's not good enough?
I like
oh God, that's down a path I don't want to go. All right, I'm retiring my shtick.
Anyway, as we mentioned before, Fungicide is available on Tubi. It should be in Canada and the States.
Yeah, if you can sit through Tucker Carlson ads.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're in another country where you don't get Tubi and you want to watch it, I think you can buy this online. I think there might be like a DVD out there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's right, Justin?
Yeah, I believe it was released on those pendulum packs that we talked about at the beginning.
That's right. So yeah, I mean, check it out. It's not. I think it's
Oh my God.
It's fun. It's entertaining.
The one that it was on now goes for $80.
Oh, yikes.
Maybe don't spend $80.
Fungicide, Gargoyles, Devil's Moon, and Tales of Terror.
Gargoyles.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I don't think you should pay that. Maybe just search for a copy if you can't find it.
I like the first review, 2 stars. Too cheesy. My sweetheart and I love B movies, but these look like if someone on a camcorder shot them.
Yeah, no
That's
shit.
Exactly why. That's exactly what it is.
But yeah, great movie, Fungicide.
Great movie.
If you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at no such thing pod. Follow us, comment. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you are subscribed on the $5 level, you get a bonus episode every 2 weeks. And we just recorded one coming out next week on Free Guy.
Oh man, people are so excited. They cannot wait for us to talk about Free Guy.
We couldn't find a horror movie to talk about that was new. But I mean, aren't you all excited to hear what we have to say about Free Guy?
We basically just talk about video games and try to avoid Free Guy as much as possible.
Yeah, I think the phrase like, but back to Free Guy comes up like 7 times.
A little more about a video game pod. Yeah, I mean, and you know, who doesn't like video games?
Hey, it's free on Disney Plus.
Us, it sounds like we don't at all. We're like, we don't play those.
I didn't even get to say on that episode that I don't play video games other than Nintendo. I do.
Whoa, man,
I do play
you're
Nintendo.
Only Nintendo?
Yeah.
I've been trying to get April into Heavy Rain, the game.
Do you know that game?
What is the thing that the guy screams?
Jason!
Like,
Jason!
Jason!
Sean!
Jason!
Sean!
Yeah, Colin's like, Heavy Rain. That's art video game, April. You gotta understand. It's the next
Mario
level.
and your Zelda's down.
Yeah, your baby games, if you will.
Jason!
And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Amansky.
You can find me at DeCluJ, DCLOUX letter J, on Letterboxd, Justin DeClue, same spelling. And if you're listening to this right when it drops on Friday, check in on Saturday starting at noon Eastern Standard Time for a 24-hour horror movie marathon that I'm hosting.
October 16th, right?
Yep. That's right. Sweating over the last months, picking the perfect list of movies.
Yes, I was just saying I missed it last time. I don't know what, I was busy or whatever. I got no plans this Saturday, so I'll be tuning in. And
until you're like, I don't like this movie. Let's do something else. And then you forget about it and you don't come back.
The last time I woke up in the morning, like I guess it was at like 11:30. It was just ending, and I caught the very end of Dracula Dead and loving it. Only makes
great movie.
Yeah. So more of that, please.
Yeah, it's gonna be 24 hours of Dracula Dead and loving it.
Pretty much. Not that much more. You can find me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA. That is all.
That's it.
Right.
So thanks for tuning in. Check out Fungicide, and I'm sure we've got one more spooky movie to go.
Yeah, we should.
Was it you last week?
Yes.
It means it's my choice.
It is.
No. It was me last week. I did I Frankenstein.
Queen of the Damned.
Oh, that's right.
Queen
so
of the Damned.
So I get to do a spooky movie.
He gets to pick something next episode. So tune in.
Van Helsing round 2.
Tune in for that. Check it out. Have a good day. I'm April Amansky.
I'm Justin DeBoo. Woo! Got it.
I'm Coffin Colin Cunningham. Have a good day for night.
Admance. April Bumansky.
Your neighbors must think you're actually a werewolf at this point.
Hey, I only did it once this episode. I'm saving it. I'm like the Flophouse.
I have a feeling that you just do it all the time around the house. Like,
nope. If you notice at the beginning of the episode, I growled like a Frankenstein. I'm trying to change it up. I don't want to be pinned down under one sound effect.
You growled like a Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
I mean, we did make that joke enough where we did I Frankenstein.